Ladies and gentlemen, Amos Yee is now confirmed a paedophile. I mean, let's be honest, considering all those videos that he made defending paedophilia and defending minor attractive persons, which is just a politically correct way of saying paedophile, and all those videos where he told us that kids can actually consent in many cases, and that we were too harsh on them, that we need to have empathy for them and treat them with some kind of respect, because they're just damaged, aren't they? They just need help. Well, it turns out that behind all that, indeed he was a paedophile. Who could have seen that one coming? Well, there were some people who thought that, hey, this is probably just an epic troll, because as we know, Amos Yee liked to troll people, particularly if one happened to be religious. That's what got him in trouble in Singapore in the first place, which allowed him to get asylum to the United States. But Sargon, he wasn't trolling, was he? Didn't age well, did it? But I still love you, man. It was announced literally last night that Amos Yee has been arrested and charged with possession of child porn. According to the Chicago Sun-Times, blogger, YouTuber, and all-round internet troll Amos Yee allegedly exchanged nude photos and thousands of messages with a 14-year-old Texas girl while he was living in Chicago. The 20-year-old Singaporean national, who appeared at the Leighton Criminal Courthouse Friday for solicitation and possession of child porn charges, gained international fame when he was jailed at 16 in his home country for controversial and obscene online posts he made following the death of the Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew in 2015. He was jailed again in 2016 for wounding religious feelings over his social media posts on Christianity and Islam, according to an NPR. Yes, Singapore has very bad freedom of speech laws. If you think that Western Europe is particularly bad at these, Singapore is worse. Yee fled Singapore and was granted asylum in the United States after being detained at O'Hare Airport by immigration officials. He has been living in Chicago for about 3 years, Cook County prosecutors said. Yee again generated controversy in the US when he began posting his now removed YouTube channel advocating for paedophiles, and prosecutors said Yee also ran a pro-paedophile forum on a message board. Now, isn't that interesting? An online forum. We knew he did the videos, we knew about his opinions, we didn't know he was actually running pro-paedophile forums, confirming to us that this was a legitimate feeling within him and that he was one of them, not just a concerned outsider, like he tried to present himself as. In a headline-grabbing post to YouTube last year, Yee addressed rumours of an inappropriate relationship with a young girl in which Yee argued that even if he did sexually abuse a 14-year-old, it does not change that there is nothing immoral about a paedophilia. Again, how did this fly under the radar? How come nobody was talking about this in our neck of the woods? Like, this is a guy who was part of like libertarian YouTube and political YouTube for a little while because he is a self-identified libertarian, I do believe. Apparently so headline-grabbing that nobody talked about it. Or maybe nobody wanted to because they didn't want to give him attention because maybe some people were still convinced he was a troll. Yee's online notoriety was the basis of his defence Friday when his assistant public defender described him as an internet troll who is all over the internet saying fantastic things. Any comments Yee made online would be taken with skepticism, his attorney argued. Yes, he was somebody who liked to, quote-unquote, troll. Although I don't believe he actually was a troll. I believe all of the opinions he expressed in those videos about religion and things like that were legitimate. He was just using humour as a way to put his message out there for people. I don't think he was trolling. And in all the videos I've seen of him talking about paedophilia, he didn't look like he was trolling. He always looked like he was deadly serious and always concerned about these people. Almost like he's trying to shame the viewer for their hatred. I don't think we should take anything that he says with skepticism. I don't understand where the whole he's a famous online troll comes from, because he never said he didn't believe any of the stuff he said. Trolls don't tend to believe what they put out online. They're joking, they're trolls, they're winding people up. Yes, he wanted to wind people up, but that's not because he was joking around. He was trying to rock the boat, so to speak. But those public comments are likely the least of Yee's concerns, given that prosecutors say they obtained messages Yee exchanged between April and July last year that included nude photos he requested and received from the girl and nude photos of himself that he sent to the minor. Just disgusting. The girl repeatedly brought up her age in the messages, prosecutors said. In other messages, Yee instructed the teenager to remove her age from her profile on WhatsApp, the messaging service they used to communicate, prosecutors said. So he was trying to hide the fact that he was a paedophile from the public, because apparently you can see her age on WhatsApp, I guess, because he's still trying to present himself as the concerned outsider. When their relationship eventually soured and the girl reached out to a group interested in exposing paedophiles, Homeland Security officials were notified, prosecutors said. Yee was taken into custody Thursday at his home, prosecutors said. Interesting, because when he started making those videos, I think he was kicked out of the place that he was living in because the person who was running the shelter or wherever he was didn't like what he was saying. And to be honest, I don't blame them, because if they had kids there, they didn't know if he was a paedophile or not. During his bond hearing, Yee made several attempts to defend himself, claiming he had had information he could provide about his case. Do not open your mouth right now, Amos, the assistant public defender repeatedly warned him. Just keep your mouth shut. Typical Amos. He hasn't grown up, has he, since he was 16. He still can't keep his mouth shut. He has to keep on yapping. If it's one thing we all know about him, he loves the sound of his own voice. Bit of a self-righteous person. Yeah, he needs to shut up if he knows what's good for him in that situation. Judge John F. Like Jr. was unswayed, saying the charges were significantly more than an online troll. Why would a troll be so committed to get nudes from a 14-year-old? That is just disgusting. And not only that, to send his own. That is just asking for trouble. Because that person could leak those nudes online and everybody would see it and he would just get a load of abuse and embarrassment online. Does he really want that? I don't think a troll would ever be so stupid as to do that. Yee's now held on a $1 million bail and banned from using the internet while he awaits trial. If convicted, Yee's asylum status could be terminated. Yee is expected back in court in November the 5th. I say if he is guilty, which it seems like he is, what do you expect? Go back to Singapore. You've broken the law, then you have to be punished for it. Now, according to Mothership, there was a person called Melissa Chen, who is also from Singapore, who said she assisted the authorities in Yee's arrest, and this is what she says on Facebook. I'm pleased to announce that Amos Yee has been arrested yesterday by the Chicago Police Department on child porn charges. More than a year ago, an individual from the community of map hunters first flagged his alleged activity to me anonymously on Twitter. I took the allegations seriously, responded and verified the accusations. After speaking with the young victim, I was broken. I vowed to do all I could to get her justice and remove him from society. We took the case to the Department of Homeland Security, who conducted thorough investigations, and now it's in the hands of the Chicago Police. I've been assisting in this manner for a year now, clandestinely. I cannot comment any further as a potential witness in this case. Initially, I was going to keep this quiet, but then a savvy reporter from the Chicago Sun-Times broke the news 3 hours ago, so it would be just a matter of time before the Singapore news will pick it up, whipping the media storm into a frenzy. I suspect there are more victims out there. If you're reading this and you have any more information, please get in touch with me. The question has been settled. As I said at the beginning, he's not a troll. He is a legitimate paedophile, and he has been for a very long time. God knows how he became that way, if it was a natural thing, he's always been like this, or something happened in his past. But his pro-map activism, the fact that he apparently not only ran message boards, but had to address this situation last year, which seemed to go completely under the radar. Imagine if their relationship had never gone sour. Imagine if he continued to groom her up until a certain point. There's no way in hell we would ever have known. Unless someone, somewhere, somehow hacked him or something, because we would never have known. And potentially, there could be even more victims. We don't know if this is the only person he tried to get it on with. We don't know that at all. Or maybe people who he's helped to facilitate to be groomed. You just don't know. And I think it's a lesson that not everybody online can be trusted, regardless of their story. There's always some people somewhere out there who, under the guise of legitimate victimhood, because he was, to some extent, of oppression, at least in regards to freedom of speech. He deserved the right to speak his mind on religion and famous figures in Singaporean society and to say things he wanted to say. However, unfortunately, he was a paedophile. But of course, nobody knew that until he opened his mouth, because I guess the fame, maybe his ego, he did seem to always have a high opinion of himself, just so happened to get in the way and it ruined everything for him. He could easily, if he was smart enough, have hidden all of this and presented the veneer of just a free speech activist, and nobody would have been none the wiser. I'm glad he's been caught. I hope that he goes to jail for a very long time, and I hope that people are a bit more vigilant. You know, it's not just paedophiles we have to look out for. There are grifters. There are people who could be murderers, like, for example, Russian Deadpool. There are people like this out there on the internet and in certain circles, and you just got to be careful. I mean, in fact, there was a person that I was familiar with, or who I think I even streamed with, called Martius. He disappeared like a few years ago. I was watching the Social Injustice Warrior, who does a lot of wrestling content, and he said, "What happened to this guy?" Because he was my friend. Turns out the guy's a pedo. Again, you never know who these people are, and you never know what they're going to do or when they're going to out themselves. So anyway, I think I'll leave it at that. Stay vigilant, guys, and until next time, I'll see you all later.